Welcome to Coffee and Comments, where the comments are as delicious as a coffee. Today we're going to review Midnight Sky, a Netflix original movie, right after we get our coffee. Shout out to my mom for this coffee mug. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says coffee is a hug in the mug. She bought me it for Christmas. Shout out to you, Mom. Pretty sure you're watching this video. We're drinking Green Mountain K-Cup, French vanilla decaf. Delicious. Sometimes you need a little decaf in your life. Delicious. Sole reason I chose to watch this movie was because I saw George Clooney, and I'm like, okay, George Clooney in the movie should be fantastic. Yeah, Felicity Jones, who's a famous actress. I don't know her from a ton of movies, but I know she's been in a lot of movies. Then you also have my guy, the main character, in my opinion, Coach Eric Taylor. That's not really his name. My thoughts on this movie were beautiful shots. Like when you watch the movie, opening shot, I was like, man, this camera work is amazing. And as the movie goes about, the camera work and the things that, you know, set up are amazing. And it had the bones to be a great movie. Had all the bones to be a great movie, but I really was unimpressed with how they laid things out. I came away with more questions than answers. And then the answers weren't fulfilling at all as far as like with the movie. And so, spoiler alert. The plot, the Earth is ending, basically. They went out in search of a new planet. Actually, 30 years prior, or some amount of years prior, I gave that number out, but some amount of years prior to the Earth actually ending, the scientist who George Clooney portrays actually finds out that there's another planet out there, as in every sci-fi movie, there's another planet that can sustain life. And so he creates this plan and basically gives up his relationship with his girlfriend and mother of his child to be for humanity and for mankind. And so throughout the movie, it has flashbacks of that event. But you know, what you're seeing in present time is two different contrasts. One on Earth with just George Clooney by himself, or so we thought. Just George Clooney by himself. And then two, the people in space coming back to Earth to get everybody back and take them back to a new planet. And so the movie plays out. I mean, there's a lot of cool scenes within it. I'm not saying this was a trash movie. Like there was some good scenes within it, but it was just, there's so much more they could have done with the movie than could explain, right? Like, where did all the humans go? I know they went underground, but I wish they would have dived more in depth on where the humans went in the movie. And then also, there's so much more they could have done with the relationship between George Clooney and his daughter that you find out at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert. Sorry. But there's so much more you could have done with the relationship or build up to. It was a good build up, don't get me wrong, it was a good build up. Another thing they could have done was, you know, show more of the actual planet. And they showed a couple scenes where she was dreaming about picking different things on the planet, like either show more about Earth and talk about like the destruction of Earth and things that happen, or show more about that planet, the other planet, so that we can see like, you know, the beautifulness and the plentifulness of it. But there were some cool scenes like, you know, in space, them doing the spacewalk. Great, you know, filming of those scenes. You'll see in the movie. But I just wish that, you know, it had the bones to be a good movie, but it just fell flat. Essentially, here's the plot. Spoiler alert. George Clooney decides to stay up top to make sure he can communicate with the spaceship that's coming back from the planet, about a 2-year journey. And then he finds out that his communications aren't the greatest, so he has to travel from his space station or whatever on top of the Earth to one far north, where they don't explain how far that is. But for the movie, it makes it seem like a long journey, long trek. Who knows where he's going, if he's crossing continents or just countries or what he's doing. But in the meanwhile, the space station coming back from, you know, the planet back to Earth. And it's basically the journey of people coming back from their planet to Earth. George Clooney making this trek across the Earth to get to this other space station to say, hey, turn around. There's nothing for you guys here. that's what I mean. Again, it could have been a great movie. For some reason it just didn't. They had the outline, but they just didn't they didn't color it in for some reason. Like the outline was great, even the filming was great. Like the directing, the filming was great. It's just the storyline it just didn't fill in. Like the plot was missing a lot of holes and a lot of things that could have been covered. My rating for this movie, I give this a 5.2. Just an average movie. If you come across on Netflix, give it a watch. I mean, you'll probably have the same thoughts I had. And so I feel kind of bad, you know, for my rating for this movie because I don't want to let Coach Eric Taylor down. He was great in that show, if you know what I'm talking about. Kyle Chandler is his real name. Leave comments below on your thoughts on the movie. If you like decaf coffee or not. Again, how you like your coffee. Like this video, subscribe, comment, share, do all those things. Thank you for watching Coffee and Comments.